My girlfriend is upset. Her best friend ended the friendship because she's dating me. GF first got to know said coworker Tom, perhaps 2 years ago, grew very close to him as a result of him helping her get over a traumatic and emotionally abusive 2-year relationship that culminated in a dramatic breakup approximately a year ago. She gave him the support he needed to get through some pretty complicated family turmoil that he was and still is dealing with. She is his closest confidant and one of his only friends. She regarded him as her closest friend. My girlfriend claims that they were close friends before I entered the picture. Not a thing more. She told me straight out that he had declared his desire to go on a date with her. She tells me that although at first she found the potential to be interesting, she did not grow to feel anything for him, and she made it very clear to him what she thought. This is said to have led him to believe that she wasn't ready for a relationship just yet, and that she should make a commitment to him that he would be her first choice when she was. I feel awkward even writing it out. She tells me that she reiterated her explanation that she didn't feel that way about him and that it wasn't a question of being ready. It appears that this message was not very clear. GF and I discussed maintaining confidentiality at work as a sign of professionalism when we first started dating. I'm not the PDA kind of person, especially at work. Therefore, it wasn't until a mutual buddy unintentionally told him about us that this coworker learned about us. In reaction, he texted my girlfriend, "So how is OP?" while they were both at work. They ended up fighting at work, which left them both crying. He said that she was a bad person for dating me and that he didn't want to be her friend any longer. We have been dating for about 2.5 weeks. When I questioned my girlfriend about it all, she was honest with me. She told me that she texted him, asking him to show her some respect and chill out since she is in a relationship. A few days later, I questioned her about the whole thing since I was concerned for her because she does occasionally work with this person. She tells me that after their reconciliation, he told her, "As long as you stay my friend, dating OP is okay." My initial thought was that it was strangely worded and a little bit controlling, which pleased her. I acknowledged the strange wording, but nonetheless supported her pleasure and her friendship with this individual since I knew how important this person was to her. A few days later, we arranged to meet up so that I can get coffee and escort her to her car because I work the opposite shift from her. She joins me outside my place of employment, and we stroll together to get coffee before moving on to her parking. She drags me into the stairs with a scared expression on her face as we are conversing by the stairway near the exit for her ramp. When I ask her what she's doing, she tells me that one of her coworkers was approaching us, and she didn't want him to start spreading gossip about us. She also mentions right away that this coworker is Tom's close buddy. Once more, it felt strange. We were conversing, not embracing or clasping hands. I continue by saying that I don't want to feel guilty about escorting my girlfriend to her car, or that we should alter our relationship in order to appease someone who isn't in the relationship. She apologizes and clarifies that she doesn't want to cope with this coworker's tendency to propagate rumors at work, explains that Tom is unrelated to it. We both wanted to keep our connection quiet, so even though I'm disturbed, I feel better about the situation, however not reticent. After about a week, we decide to repeat the coffee and a walk-to-car routine because we are now working different shifts. This time, I approach her workplace. I was unaware that day that Tom was working with her. He stares me and GF down as soon as he sees me and quickly leaves, clearly unhappy. My girlfriend goes after him. Before my girlfriend comes back to me, I remain up and talk to a few coworkers for a little while. I ask her what it was all about as we head towards coffee. She claims it was insignificant. I let her know that I believe he still feels something for her. This upsets her and she declares, "I guess I'll cut him out of my life then." I tell her that I don't want that, but in order to respect our relationship, I need her to set limits with him, and that if he doesn't, I can rely on her to tell me the truth about it. When I questioned him later, I found out that he was furious that he was unable to speak with her about anything unrelated to me that was happening in his family and that my girlfriend had gone to get coffee with me instead. After a few weeks, we're both working night shifts. We agree that I should visit her during our lunch break, about 15 minutes, so that we can catch up and chat. She gets up at this time, crosses the room to talk to a coworker, and ends up texting someone on her phone at 2 in the morning while hiding behind a pillar in the space next to her coworkers. As I approach her, she abruptly ends her text conversation. She returns to her seat beside me. When I inquire about her mother's well-being, she clumsily replies that it was Tom and that she needed to ask him a question regarding the morning's agenda. I bring up the fact that he works the day shift and that it's strange he's up at this early hour. He was venting to her about another coworker. She responds, "Let's go back to last weekend. I get to spend a few days off with my girlfriend over the New Year's holiday weekend." Her eyes are puffy and red when I go pick her up on Saturday morning. Her eyes had never looked like that to me, except when she was crying because she had to put her dog down. I ask her if anything occurred and if she's okay. She claims it's nothing and that she had a headache, which is why she dozed off with the heating pad on her face. After that, they make jokes about never doing that again. I gave it up. We are having a conversation on New Year's Eve when she is going over her previous calls. As she scrolls down, I notice that she has missed 2 calls from Tom and has made one to Tom. That evening, I confide in her and tell her that I'm insecure about Tom and that I want to start hanging out in groups with him to get to know him better and feel more at ease. She goes on to say that since they are no longer friends, I don't have to worry about that. In response, I tell her that they text a lot, sometimes on dates or the few occasions we get together when we work different shifts and are rather discreet about their conversations, and that I spotted his calls when she was looking through her phone history. She continues by saying that he asked her over the phone on Friday night if they were still dating, became quite agitated upon learning that my girlfriend and I were still dating, and informed her that he could no longer be her friend during our relationship. That's all she told me about the conversation, at least. I was unsure about how to feel. I feel terrible that I was essentially the reason she lost her best buddy of the previous 2 years. She told me that she didn't cry and that she had left her heating pad on her face, which bothers me. She felt the need to lie to me about it when I first inquired what was wrong. I regret that rather than her approaching me first when something feels off, I have to question her about it all. She says that when she was ready to talk about it, she would share it with me. I feel just as bad if I'm coming out as overly assertive, insecure, domineering, or jealous. While we were sitting on the couch on New Year's Day, she confides in me about how much she misses Tom. I do my best to console her, telling her that perhaps he needs some space and time to move over his love for her, and that he will still be available to her as a friend, a companion who will honor her relationships and respect her boundaries. And I allowed my fears to rule my life. We end up fighting over everything that has happened up to this point. When I brought up the calls directly, she said she wasn't ready to tell me about it, but she also promised not to lie to me. She says, "I'm concentrating on how this whole thing affects me." She continues by drawing a comparison between her current circumstance with Tom and a talk with any other buddy. I feel like a total loser, similar to the largest ass. I'm sorry. Express regret for drawing attention to myself in the wake of the recent loss of her best and closest friend. We split up, and since then, we've only communicated via texts and quick trips, mostly because of conflicting work schedules once more. Our relationship had a strange beginning. I've been physically and emotionally cheated on in the past, and I'm doing my best not to let those fears interfere with this, which is the reason I'm contacting you. My close friends are all biased against me and have all advised me to call it quits. 2 of whom work with my GF and have brought up some points that GF left out when she told me about her connection with Tom. For example, my girlfriend claims that she treats Tom the same as everyone else, but she actually treats him significantly differently from her other co-workers. Things like how co-workers assumed they were in a relationship. There have also been other problems. This is not beneficial, all during this little period of dating. Physical intimacy problems that appear to be resolved for the time being. We were on the verge of dissolving our relationship once, primarily because of her lack of optimism about spending time with me and our conflicting schedules. I have a deep and abiding love for this woman. She's a really wise and sympathetic woman. She has a great deal of empathy for others. I frequently believe she is drawn to damaged or wounded people because she has a strong desire to heal them. She's a decent person. However, I think my relationship needs more stability and trust from me. Furthermore, I'm not sure if she realizes the impact this has had on me. Because she is in a relationship with me, I feel too guilty to bring it up to her right now because I know how terrible it is for her to lose someone who was so dear to her. I'm thinking right now if I should call it quits. I'm not sure if I can trust her, yet I still adore her. All the while, I think my level of insecurity is simply too high. All the while feeling like a jerk for even raising doubts about her moral character. Update. Since publishing, I haven't discussed any of this with her. Unfortunately, it's possible that there are other, unconnected reasons why we are just incompatible. In a nutshell, she is a highly self-reliant individual. Our conflicting work schedules make it difficult for us to spend as much time together as we would like. We had planned to spend time together yesterday, but her mother became ill, so she had to take care of her. I'm sure she's telling the truth about this. Family comes first in this household, so she had to be there for her mother. Her mother is doing better today. We were meant to meet, and she says she needs to finish off some work for her second job, which is something like an instructor. This obviously hurt me because I really should talk to her. This is nothing new. I estimate that about 1/3 of our plans are altered due to unforeseen circumstances on her end. It gives her anxiety to look at her schedule too much. Therefore, she's not particularly interested in looking ahead in her calendar to try to make arrangements. Though it's not even the end of things, I wish this was all that was happening. She was saying things like, "Don't give up on me. I'm a hard person to love, and I'm grumpy from the start of their relationship." She had planned to get some breakfast tomorrow before I left on a week-long trip, but she had to cancel today. Since she lives only 5 minutes away, I told her how disappointed I was about the cancellation and how much I was looking forward to seeing her today, even if it was just for a quick embrace. Her message to me was, like right now, I feel like I did something wrong by asking for time to do what I need, and I feel like you expect me to be available the second you wake up. Keep in mind that the material she is working on could take up to 6 months to complete. I wasn't invited to drop over for a brief embrace and vice versa. I regret giving her the impression that I could always count on her to be there for me. I tell her that I really don't want her to be spending time with me because she feels horrible, and that if anything, I would like her to look forward to seeing me. I tell her I wanted to check in with her since I know she's going through a really difficult emotional time and I love and care for her. Then, after she had taken her mother somewhere, she promised to drop by. At this point, I suppose I'm dejected since it seems like a pitiful stop. Though I still wanted to see her for breakfast, I informed her that I needed some time alone tonight to reflect on our relationship. I'll keep you informed and update you on that. It goes without saying that there are a lot of problems that we are unable to resolve, and this is only the largest one. She has my undying affection and care. I just don't believe I can handle continuing to feel this way about the person I adore in our relationship. It will hurt me a lot if we do end up splitting up, because I haven't experienced a profound love affair yet. I wish I could say that this wouldn't have made me a worse person, but I'm not sure. Since all of this is bringing up concerns with my own self-worth, to the point where I'm practically crying as I write this, I'm looking into counseling. Update 2. I had an extremely challenging day today. My girlfriend and I spoke when we met. She thinks the way the matter was handled was fine. Nothing about the whole affair is wrong. It's not what I need. She needs to love the way she loves. I discussed with her what I believe to be the start of a depressive spiral. My life has felt like a ticking time bomb that I've been attempting to defuse my entire life, and it feels like it's about to blow. I put an end to things. I was unsure of how to proceed in our relationship moving forward. She's a good person, and I love her very much, but I also feel that I'm not in a position where I can be with someone at this time. I feel unworthy, envious, and insecure. I informed her that I didn't think I was ready for a relationship, that I just wanted her to be happy, and that I didn't think she should wait on me. I informed her that, although I love her, I can't be a decent partner right now. In no way do I feel like I am. She doesn't deserve to be with someone whose heart skips a beat whenever she replies to a text, as she did even during our morning discussion, believing it to be from another Tom. "You're the bravest man I know," she said to me. "OP, you will always have my utmost respect. You should be proud of yourself for standing up for yourself instead of feeling sad or upset. I have faith in you and what you have to offer." When I eventually asked if we could be friends, she looked really upset. Seeing her in such misery is unbearable. She is one of my main worries. I'm afraid Tom will come back and cause her even more misery. Remain her friend and support her throughout this difficult time, all the while preventing her from achieving happiness with the person she actually loves. However, I have no right to interfere. Even if it were, I don't feel like I could right now. This has really broken my heart. I'm aware that it will take me a very long time to get over this. I suppose I just don't feel very lovable right now. If that's understandable. It's just not right, although I suppose there are instances when two decent people can care sincerely for one another. It's as if the parts are mismatched. She becomes a memory since the communication never seems to click.